back, relax, and maybe get yourself a snack. Me and you gonna have a little chat about books. Hey guys, I'm here today to do a review for Play of Shadows, which is book 1 in this new series by Sebastian de Castell. So I picked this one up as part of a readathon, and I'm really pleased that I got to it because it's only been out for a few months, I think. And this author is an author that I have read multiple times. I loved his Greatcoats series, I've read some of his other YA series, and I've enjoyed his work generally. So I was pretty clear that I would probably like this series, but I wasn't entirely certain about the concept, because the concept of this one is that we are following a young man who is called Damilus, and he is known as the Rabbit of the town after he fled from a fight with the Vixen, who is a notorious kind of duelist, I would say. She and he had some beef, you could say, and he was supposed to fight her, and instead of fighting her, he ran away, and whilst he was doing that, everyone sort of gave him the nickname the Rabbit. He is determined to hide out from this fight because he's not convinced he can win, first off, and secondly, he knows that if he doesn't win, someone in his family that he deeply cares about would be required to step in as his second, and that is obviously a big concern for him because not only would he be dead, but also they might then die. So one of the ways that you can flee from a fight in this world is to run into a theatre and be part of a theatre company, and he does exactly this. He runs into the nearest theatre he can find. He has no real prior knowledge of it, but he is determined to kind of get in there and make a name for himself there so that he does not have to fight the Vixen. And so he goes into this company, he kind of blags his way in, and he ends up as a sort of understudy, stagehand kind of thing rather than an actual actor. He's not super unhappy with this turnout of events, but he would prefer to be a little bit more well known. It's something he has been interested in for a while, and as events unfold, you know, something happens, something magical happens, which goes by the term Varista, and a Varista is supposedly an actor who is possessed almost by a past being, real person who has lived in the past, and that person is then trying to tell their story through the actor in a kind of almost taking over possession style way, which is a little bit of a wacky concept if you think about it. But our main character, Damilus, thinks that maybe, just maybe, something weird has happened to him, and he might have just spouted some lines in a play where he was supposed to be pretty much a nobody, and then suddenly he was everything. Also, he might do it in front of someone really important. So his life gets a bit turned upside down, not that it wasn't already, but even more so, and he then has to navigate his potential new magic, his connection with the past. He also is trying to uncover some of the politics of this world, which seems to be a little bit messy, to say the least. The new person on the throne is not necessarily favoured by a lot of the people in the city. There is potentially a plot against them, and Damilus kind of gets pulled into the middle of everything because the story that he is telling, the Varista story, which is being told through him, is very relevant to the goings-on of the current day, and the ruling people and people who want to be ruling and in power are very concerned with the outcome of his play. So that's kind of the concept, and as I say, it is a bit wacky because it's not something you really expect to have, like possession going on, to have ancient people kind of coming through you and articulating their thoughts and their theories and their beliefs about their lives, not knowing they are dead and gone, and it's all a bit of a bizarre concept, but somehow it works, I think, and somehow it was enjoyable to read. And I do think the writing is really solid because it is Sebastian de Castell. He has good writing style that was very easy to get into, very fast-paced right from the get-go. I didn't feel like there was anything holding me back from just enjoying this story right away. There were some references to the Greatcoats. I would say they're not a huge part of the story, but there is like ancient heritage of his. There are some connections with other characters that we might have seen before in Greatcoats. You absolutely don't need to have read the Greatcoats series to read this one, but the connections are there if you're looking for them, and I think that's quite nice, and I think that will be something that maybe develops a little bit more as the series goes as well, based on the ending, which I'm excited to see where it goes from this point forwards. I definitely like this one. I definitely think it has a lot of potential. I don't think it's as strong as Greatcoats for me because the joy of Greatcoats is like the snark and the banter and the wit, and I just don't quite think there is enough backwards and forwards banter in this one for my liking. There are, friends of Demolus who he's kind of talking to, but it feels like he's running scared a lot of the story, which is obviously the point. He is running scared. Whereas I think the Greatcoats series is a lot more about like being bold and bashful and all that sort of stuff. This one's a little bit more about how someone who's timid and trying to hide in the shadows actually has to come out of those shadows and is forced out, and how they go about their story and their adventure. So they are different for sure, and I did prefer the Greatcoats series beginning, but I am willing to continue this series and see where it's going to go, because I do think the concepts are really different and the world itself is one that I love. And I'm intrigued about where these characters are going to end up. Based on the events of the ending, which was quite dramatic, where are they going to end up? So that's my review. I enjoyed it. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. I would love to hear if you guys have read this one, because it's been out for a little while. What did you think of it if you did? And how does it compare to Greatcoats for you if you have read that series as well? Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below, and I will see you in another video very soon. Bye everyone.
Thank you for watching my video today. Go pick up a book, then come back and chat with me again.